Hey guys, this is Cam for 15 back at it with another video for you guys. And I'm back with another Pokemon movie review video for you guys. And this time we are discussing the second movie of the Pokemon franchise, and that is Pokemon the Movie 2000. Yeah, I know. It's a cool name, but yes. This movie, essentially legendary as it focuses on is Lugia and the three legendary birds of Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres. So I recently rewatched this film, and man, um, it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot more. Honestly, I enjoyed it a lot more than the first movie of Pokemon. I think Pokemon the movie 2000 is one of the best movies in the Pokemon franchise, and it still holds up well today, even then and everything. And I just liked everything, but we'll get into that and everything. So yeah, but let's get into it. So we start the movie off with our main villain, called Lawrence the Third, who is probably the worst thing about this film, to be honest. Other than him doing what he needs to do, then yeah. But honest to goodness, I thought Lawrence the Third was kind of bland and kind of like, he's nothing really truly special to the grand scheme of things and everything. But okay, he just sets off the events for this movie to take place. But anyways, he ends up capturing Moltres. And the thing about Lawrence the Third is he's catching Moltres first, and then he's going after the other legendary birds to then bring out Lugia, because he wants them in his added collection, which we'll get into later on and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, so the next few locations where Articuno and Zapdos are at, they're in these, I guess, these islands called the Shamuti Islands, essentially near that area and everything. But anyways, what happens next is we get introduced to our characters of Ash, Misty, and this time, new companion Tracy. Now, if you want to know, if you want to watch this in the canon timeline, listen, I guess like I said in the last video, the movies aren't canon to their anime series. They're kind of their own offshoot things, but if you want to watch the movies during the time place of the anime, well then I would say you watch it at some point during the Orange Islands arc in Pokemon, because well that's when Tracy was a big part of that stuff and everything. So you know, that's the whole thing. And then again, like I said, Tracy, I personally think he's one of the worst companions in Ash's grouping he's ever had in all the different series, if you ask me. So yeah, he's up there with Silent for me, to be honest. But other than that, that's kind of truly it. But that's where you would watch this sometime during the Orange Islands arc series and stuff like that. So yeah, but they're on their way to Shamui. They're on their way to their next adventure and stuff like that. But the storm ends up coming abruptly, and that's how they end up crash landing to the Shamuti Islands and everything. Now we actually do cut away from them for a bit, and we focus on what's going on in Pallet Town in the Kanto region, where we see Professor Oak essentially talking to Delia Ketchum, Ash's mom, which again, I wouldn't be shocked if Professor Oak is like, doing the stuff with Ash's mom, because why not? Anyways, what happens is throughout this scene, there's different weather patterns that change throughout the scene. Like you have Oak have, I guess you can say, snow weather, and then rain weather, and then hail, and then they look up at the sky and they see auras or auroras and stuff like that, and it's kind of like, what the heck is going on? And then two, the Pokemon, you have these Diglets come in, and they're like literally like going this direction, as well as other bird Pokemon are flying to this direction and everything. And obviously, they're Ash's mom and Professor Oak are like, what the heck's going on here? And stuff like that. And yeah, so that's when we cut back over to Ash. They crash land. One of the island people that shows up essentially is like, oh, welcome to the Shamuti Islands and everything. Welcome. Now, the boat driver actually knows one of the people there and everything and stuff like that. And they go on to make, now the main leader, well, the main, I guess, person is essentially like glad they're there because they're essentially about to hold a Legends ritual, where there's this chosen one hero and stuff like that. And of course, Ash is the chosen one and stuff like that. Now, we then are introduced to another girl by the name of Melody. And yes, this is officially, I guess you can say, well, not in the canon of Pokemon, the anime, but if you want to go say this was the first time Ash has been kissed by a girl other than Serena, well, then here you go. Ash got kissed by Melody before Serena did. Now, like I said, the movies are non-canon to the main series. So essentially, officially, Serena's the one that got the first kiss on Ash. And the one thing I did like about this film is how they kind of build up a little bit of tension between Melody and Misty from the standpoint, oh, you know, are you like him? Are you like his little sister? Misty's like, no way, I'm not his sister. And then she's like, oh, so you're his girlfriend. And Misty's like, huh, yeah, right. Like I'd ever be this guy's boyfriend. And it was a hilarious thing. I don't know if Melody had like romantic feelings for Ash. I think it was just honor tradition honorific type of things, and she came on to him and stuff like that. And Misty got jealous, obviously, because we know Misty has feelings for Ash, even though when we see Misty later on in the series like Sun and Moon, it's like those feelings have dropped and stuff like that, mostly because Serena came in and kind of took him. But whatever, I found that hilarious. The whole banter between them back and forth because Misty was clearly jelly over a Melody just fawning over Ash and everything and stuff like this. They do have, and if you are a quote unquote poke shipper, there is a lot of poke shipping moments in this movie. Not a lot, but there was a few of them in this movie. And stuff like that. So yeah, I'm personally an Amore shipping guy. I ship Ash with Serena the most out of all the other Poke girls. But yeah, Poke shipping is definitely like, it's probably a close second for me. So yeah. But anyways, what happens is they get introduced. There's this big ritual celebration and stuff like that. And essentially, Melody does this dance and everything, and she's telling Ash, you see, you got to go collect these treasures on Ice Island, Fire Island, and Lightning Island. You have to put those three treasures on this pedestal, and then, guess what? You'll quell the seas and everything, and yada, yada, yada. And Ash is like, oh, really? And stuff like that. And Melody's kind of egging him on, saying like, well, you're the chosen one and everything, and you got to do it, and stuff like that. So yeah, and she's like, will you please do it, Ash? And obviously Ash is like, oh, of course I am, because we know this is the time period of Ash where he's kind of like cocky and everything and stuff like that. Obviously that's when he ends up going to go do this whole thing, even though there's a whole like storm going on and everything. And yeah, so yeah, but what happens then on, Ash is traveling to essentially the first island, which is Fire Island, and everything. So, the thing is, it ends, he's going there, but there's obviously well, you can say this crazy storm is happening. Now, we actually do cut over to Professor Oak and Professor Ivu, who are headed over there to see what the hell's going on. And essentially what Professor Oak is deducting is the fact the reason why the weather patterns and the world seems going crazy or haywire at the moment is because, well, the disruption of the three legendary birds. Essentially, find out in this movie, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres essentially, in this grand scheme case, control the weather patterns of the world, essentially. And if one of them is taken out, then it messes up the entire, I guess you can say ecosystem or how the world operates, because they all work in harmony with one another and stuff like that. Now, again, okay, I wouldn't think that these legendaries would have like an impact on the world and stuff like that in terms of weather patterns and everything. I guess it would make sense. So yeah, I can't think of another legendary set that would be similar in this case, but who do I know? But anyways, what happens is because of this, it's throwing the whole world into chaos. And the thing is, the reason why there's all these Pokemon grouped together and you see all the Pokemon like huddled together, like as one, essentially. Well, it's because they say, Professor Ivy says, well, Pokemon essentially have the innate ability to sense when things are going on in nature. They pick it up just like that, because we even see at the start of the movie, Pikachu seems kind of like concerned, and he's like really focused on what's going on and everything. And he's kind of like, and we see Pikachu's demeanor in this film essentially is with urgency to try to essentially put the world back to normal and stuff like that. Then and everything. And anyways, because the rough storms and everything, Melody, Misty, and Tracy all think of the good idea to go after Ash and see how he's doing and everything. You get a funny banter again between Melody and Misty, of the fact that, Melody is like, for somebody who's not his girlfriend, you're really definitely worried about him. And Misty was like, typically, now again, this is the dub line. Misty's like, I'm his friend and I'm a girl, and I'm not his girlfriend, and stuff like that. But Melody's like, really? It sounds a lot like you're his girlfriend. I'm like, oh boy, yes. Now Tracy then comes on it. He's like, are you talking about me? I'm like, no, Tracy, no one's talking about you, because guess what? You're one of the weakest companions in the Pokemon franchise for the anime. So move on. Thank you. Anyways, what happens is Melody takes her sister ship. They end up meeting up with Ash on Fire Island, and everything. So what happens then on is the fact that, well, guess what? We have Zapdos come on in with this whole operation, and essentially Zapdos is going haywire and crazy. Now, hold on a quick second, guys. Okay, sorry for that. But anyways, what happens next is the fact that, well, guess what? One, Team Rocket's also here and everything, and they try to interrupt everything, because Team Rocket was actually pretty good in this movie, and they actually served a purpose and actually helped here. But like I said, Zapdos comes in, and essentially he's creating havoc, and Pikachu's trying to talk to Zapdos, saying like, what are you doing here on Fire Island? Like, you should be on your original island and everything. And Meow's translating this, and he's like, and Zapdos is like, well, if Moltres not here, then I'm just going to take it over. All of a sudden, we see Lawrence III's ship shows up, and then he ends up capturing Zapdos, but also ends up capturing Ash in company, as well as Team Rocket. Now, I also forgot to mention, Ash already got the lightning crystal thing, the lightning gem. I forgot to mention that earlier. He ended up getting that first and everything and stuff like that. I don't remember. But at this point in time, Ash has both of them and stuff like that. So what happens is they get transported up to the ship where Lawrence III is at, and Lawrence III essentially is telling them, oh, I'm just looking to capture the legendary birds to bring Lugia out so I can add them to my collection and everything. And it's like, so this guy just wants to capture these legendary Pokemon to add to his collection. Pretty interesting. Not interesting. And like, that's pretty bland of a villain plot. He doesn't really do anything. Like, this is the last time he does anything. Like, there's no big Pokemon battle with Ash and him or something like that, where he beats him and stuff like that. He just walks away and he's like, well, off to go try to capture Moltres and everything. So then Lugia can come out. But literally, after he captures Zapdos, he really does nothing. Truly, he does absolutely nothing because we see his ship end up getting destroyed and everything. So, yeah, but he was kind of a pointless villain, to be honest. Um, that is really the only thing that probably brings down this movie. It's still a great movie. I still like Pokemon the movie 2000. I just think Herb the Lawrence, or not Herb, Lawrence the Third is just a weak villain. He doesn't really have any convictions. We don't know why he's truly doing this. He's just collecting just to collect. That's it. That's the only reason. He's just collecting to collect. But whatever. They end up getting out. And stuff like that. They free Zapdos, they free Moltres. Again, like I said, Team Rocket helping was actually a shock to see. And I was like, they're actually integral to the story. Because typically, Team Rocket's in these Pokemon movies, they just don't bring nothing to the story. Those are the one few times that Team Rocket, and probably the history of the series as a whole, actually did something, contributed to something that actually felt worth it. And stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I love when they use Team Rocket. I don't like how they use Team Rocket when they're always just making our characters Pokemon find ways to get stronger and evolve and stuff like that. But yeah, anyways, what happens is they get off the ship, they end up going to this one island, and they run into Slowking, who we saw earlier in the movie. And yes, this Slowking can talk. Don't know why, don't care. He can talk clearly. But essentially, he's like, listen, you got to put these treasures on the pedestals to help quell what's going on with nature. So Ash puts down the lightning and the fire treasure, lining them up with Fire Island and Lightning Island, but he's still missing the Ice Island treasure, and stuff like that. And also by this time, Articuno's already coming out and everything now. After Moltres and Zapdos are free, essentially what happens is the three legendary birds are fighting with one another and stuff like that. And everything's just going haywire now, and stuff like that. And essentially, in order to quell the three legendary birds, they have to get the Ice Island put on the pedestal. Melody has to play the song with her flute, and everything will be back to normal. Nature will be fine and everything. And essentially, the Slowking's like, well, we need the Chosen One. If only the Chosen One is here, if the Chosen One isn't here, then the world will be turned to ash. And essentially, the meaning is the fact that statement alone is, well, the world is turning to ash to save it. And essentially, Ash is the chosen one hero, that he has to save the world and do this. And for once, we actually get Ash like, wait, me? I'm the chosen one? I have to save the world? Oh, hold on. I can't do that. No way, no how, no chance. I'm going to do this. The one time Ash is willing to be like, yeah, I'm going to actually analyze this, and I'm not going to do this. You look at it and you're like, are you serious? Out of all the times you're willing to do things, the one time the world actually needs to be saved, you're like, nah, I'm good. Okay, yeah, sure. All right, fine. Okay, Ash was willing to let the world die. Anyways, whatever. What happened? Anyways, Ash is just essentially like, well, if there's no other choice I have to do it, then I have to do it. So yeah. Also, too, we see in this moment of need, Lugia shows up, and essentially Lugia is telling Ash, listen, this is your mission. Go get the ice, go to Ice Island, get what you need to get, play the flute, and then things will be called back to normal. Also, the Lugia talks. Again, I think it's pretty cool that the legendaries essentially speak through telepathy, because essentially all the Pokemon in the Pokemon are still obviously all like, they're still all like mythical creatures that we still know nothing about. We just only have the basic details and stuff like that about these legendary Pokemon. But I just always think it's so cool when they have the legendary Pokemon be different from the regular Pokemon, from the standpoint they can talk through telepathy to humans. Essentially, Lugia is like, listen, I'll help you the best I can to get to Ice Island. So he's going up against the legendary birds. But the thing is, the legendary birds end up getting the better of Lugia, but Lugia is still hanging in there in the fight and everything. So Ash is going on his own to Ice Island, and we see one of the things where Team Rocket actually helps out. So they make a freaking, float because or a boat and everything with the helicopter propeller, because we see Professor Oak's, Ivy, and Delia's freaking airport crash down. Now, how they didn't die, no clue. It's anime, whatever. So Team Rocket's actually helping Ash get over to helping save the world and everything, because they know, oh crap, we can actually do something good, and then too, we don't want the world to end, and we don't want the world to die and everything. So so that was pretty cool. That, again, like I said, the Team Rocket felt like they were doing something in this film. It was dope. I'm like, thank you to good Team Rocket. Anyways, Ash gets the ice item, and he's trying to head back over there, but the legendary birds are getting in the way and everything, and stuff like that. But all of a sudden, Lugia comes in. He's like, come on, let's go. So Ash and Team Rocket ride on Lugia and everything. But Lugia is trying to get past the 3 legendary birds. But like I said, Lugia ends up getting taken out, this time for good. Ash falls down and everything. And essentially, it's looking like all hope is lost and everything. Ash is essentially floating in this water. And that's when Misty is like, we got to find Ash and everything. So she goes there. You get a Poke Shippy moment where she's freaking like, has Ash in arms. She's helping him get over to the side or get to the main island to put the treasure down to save the world and everything. So yeah, and it's looking pretty hectic and everything. Ash then wakes up. He gets up. He puts the ice treasure down, and essentially Melody plays the song. Not only Lugia recuperates and he's back to full health because Melody playing the song, but essentially the 3 legendary birds end up getting quelled, and the world is saved. The world goes back to normal. It's not going to be turned to ash or destruction and stuff like that. And the legendary birds go back to their original islands. And yeah, Ash runs into Professor Oak and Ivy. His mom's there, and obviously his mom's like, don't you ever scare me like that again, and yada, 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 because you're my hero, yada, yada. Without it was cheesy line and stuff like that. And essentially that's where the movie ends and everything. Team Rocket does meet the talking Slow King, so yeah. They're like, well, nobody saw what we did, but the Slow King's like, oh no, everybody saw what you did. And Team Rocket's like, oh, we became heroes and stuff like that, and yada, yada, yada. So yeah, that's where Pokemon the movie 2000 ends, and that's it. So yeah, what are my thoughts? Listen, I honestly loved this movie. This was one of my favorite Pokemon movies in my Pokemon rewatch. Just watching objectively, I enjoyed this one more than I enjoyed the first movie. And definitely a lot of people do say Pokemon the movie 2000 is potentially the best Pokemon movie up there. Again, like I said, I still think I Choose You or The Power of Us, since it's more recent in my memory. I think it's better than Pokemon the movie 2000, but it's still a great Pokemon film. The only thing that really takes it down is the villain, Lawrence. And we actually do cut over to Lawrence, and Lawrence is kind of just, it feels just like how Mewtwo did in the first movie. He realizes, oh shit, my actions were wrong. I literally threw the world into chaos. Well, damn. Well, I guess now I know that, I shouldn't do what I need to do. And that's it. We don't know if he gets reprimanded for his actions and stuff like that. We don't know anything. We just see him, his whole ending to his story is just looking at the sky like, you know what, maybe this is better. And he probably realizes that he can't do what he just did. Again, like I said, Lawrence the Third is probably the weakest point of this film. Otherwise, this movie would have been perfect. But regardless of the fact, it's still a pretty damn good movie. The one thing I like compared to the first movie is this movie has actual stakes here. The fact that the world could potentially end because one idiot freaking captured a legendary Pokemon and threw the balance of the world into complete chaos and everything. So that was, it was a lot more, the stakes in terms of this film was a lot more higher than Mewtwo, because Mewtwo was just like, I'm gonna freaking kill you and stuff like that. because I don't like humans and stuff like that. And his take was he was just going to take over the world, kind of your generic evil villain plot until they realize the actions of the wrongs. Even though there was something what happened with Lawrence here, and stuff like that. Guess what? The whole stakes of this film were a lot better. Now, Mewtwo, I think, is a better main antagonist of a film than Lawrence was, and stuff like that. So yeah. I also feel I did like the legendaries, how they were utilized in this film too. I think it was a solid use of them and everything. I did like the fact how Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos were tied into how the world is balanced and everything. And if it's not balanced, then Lugia kind of shows up to potentially quell them along with the help of humans that they need to do it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, again, this is, a really good movie and I enjoyed it. And like I said even earlier, Team Rocket, I thought they were utilized really good in this movie, because in other cases, in the other Pokemon movies they appear in sometimes, they really bring nothing to the film. They're just kind of there to observe what Ash is doing. If not, they're barely in the film. Here, this was the one time Team Rocket was actually useful in a role they were put in, and it was actually freaking good in helping Ash and company essentially save the world. And I definitely did enjoy it. So yeah. But other than that, that was kind of it. I definitely did like how they made Ash an integral, even though it was cheesy, like, oh, of course, yes, the world needs to turn to Ash to save it. Yeah, is that kind of your generic typical movie plotline? The fact that, oh, the main character, it's up to you to save the world. Yeah, but still, the way they did it was still pretty nice, and everything. And I definitely did enjoy this film a lot. It's definitely one of my favorites, and honestly, I think it's better than the first Pokemon movie, by, honestly, I would say a far margin. But other than that, that's my thoughts on Pokemon the movie 2000. Next time we'll be talking about Pokemon the movie number 3. I don't know the title of it, I forgot it, but I think it's literally called Pokemon the movie 3. So yeah. But if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's Pokemon movie review. Do you like Pokemon the movie 2000? It's one of your favorites, or do you not like it? As well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Pokemon movie review content, as well as anything else I upload to the channel. But other than that, guys, I'm the God of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night of this video. Until then, guys, catch you guys later. Stay safe.